What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Leo Rydell here from Geekly Goods, and guys, it is 1:38 in the morning, and I just got done watching the latest episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Yes, I'm talking Season 7, Episode 5, Gone Without a Trace, guys, and I absolutely love this episode. But I gotta get this out of the bag first. Oh my god, Ahsoka Tano is back. Ahsoka Tano is back, everybody. I know I am not the only one who is excited with that teaser we got to see a couple days ago. Seeing Ahsoka and this new kind of batch of characters that we get in the episode. And oh my god, I was mystified. That's not even the right word, but man, I was so excited and so enthralled to see Ahsoka again. I mean, literally, I was freaking out, but I loved seeing her character progression. Like, we haven't seen Ahsoka since the ending of Season 5, and it's been, what, years? Like 5, 6 years? And it feels like she has grown with us. You know, we get to see that in her fighting scene in this episode. We get to see a little bit of fighting between her and some goons, and it was really awesome to just see that she's calm, she's confident in her Force abilities. You know, she's not Anakin's Padawan anymore. We get to see her from this perspective of how Ahsoka was as an adult. But let me back up and talk a little bit more about this episode. And before I dive in any further, I just want to let you guys know this is definitely a spoiler review. So turn back if you don't want any spoilers, because I will be diving into the nitty-gritty, guys. So let's talk about it. I love that we get to go into the underbelly of Coruscant, somewhere we haven't seen before. Now, keep in mind, we have seen Revenge of the Sith. We've seen Coruscant featured very prominently, but we've seen Coruscant from a top-down view. We've seen the capital. We've seen a lot of the buildings and the city and the skyline, but we haven't been able to really dive into the underbelly and the slums of Coruscant. And that's what I really love about this episode, is getting to explore a planet in Star Wars that we don't get to really explore. I know that's a confusing statement, but what Clone Wars and The Mandalorian both do so very well is that they allow us to explore planets that we have already been on, or explore the galaxy that we have already seen. And I just love these little tiny details that they sneak into there. And I loved being in the underbelly of Coruscant. I know I've probably said that probably 1,000 times. But I also, aside from Ahsoka, I enjoy getting to know our new characters, Trace and Rafa. They kind of almost have this Ahsoka-Anakin dynamic. I mean, obviously, Rafa is not as good of an older figure to Trace as Anakin was to Ahsoka in the beginning, but oh man, it reminded me of that dynamic, that kind of student-master dynamic for a bit there, but obviously, Rafa was having some trouble. But let's back up to Trace. Great character. I thought her and Ahsoka had great energy on screen together. I know that there's going to be more episodes featuring the two of them, so I'm looking forward to a little bit of a development in that relationship. Ahsoka did not reveal her Jedi past, so let's be real here. If this character and Ahsoka are going to get more time together, 9 times out of 10, she's going to keep on asking her about her past a little bit. I mean, Ahsoka had already exhibited, like, crazy fighting prowess. She also used the Force, but this was this was not in Tracy's view. So Tracy didn't really see her actually access the Force. However, as these characters get closer and closer, come on, they're going to have to reveal their pasts to each other, and I'm very excited to dive into Trace's past, because what Trace kind of represents is another foot on the ground. And what I mean by that is somebody who's not a Jedi, somebody who is actually a part of the Star Wars society, and who kind of views Jedis in a different light than we're used to. You know, we're used to the council. We're used to being right up front, you know, in a front row seat to see all of the Jedi and to kind of hear what they're plotting, to hear what they're, I say plotting like they're villains, but to hear their plans. We get to hear the Jedi and we get to see them firsthand. other characters and the smaller, minor characters in Star Wars don't know. So when the Jedi are brought up in a casual setting, it comes to down to a few things. They're a legend. They're not as good as they tout themselves to be, and or something else. It's never really the things that we know. You know, they don't say, oh, well, I know of the Force. Yeah, there are a few select individuals like Maz Kanata, but Maz is closer to the situation. I'm talking people who have nothing to do with the Jedi. They view them as these sorcerers. You know, we got that in The Mandalorian a little bit when, in the last episode of The Mandalorian, when they called Jedi sorcerers. It's the same thing here, where she doesn't view the Jedi as being good like Ahsoka did. So this is another great nugget for Ahsoka's arc, because Ahsoka is kind of coming from the same perspective. The Jedi were wrong when they accused her, so they wanted to bring her back in, and she left. And because of that, you know, she also has a sort of sour outlook on the Jedi. I'm not going to say that is completely negative, because she did get a little defensive a few times in the episode, but that's going to be probably revealed within the next few episodes as the two characters grow closer. Now, getting to Rafa, they owed this guy Hintu, or Bintu, Hintu, I want to say. They owed him a great debt. He comes in, and, you know, oh my God. Okay, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. This is an unedited version, by the way, guys, because I'm just posting this straight on YouTube. But I do want to say, we start with Ahsoka and Trace meeting, and then we get to meet Rafa. But before we even meet Rafa, Ahsoka and Trace are actually infiltrated by a gang of guys, and led by this dude named Bintu, or Hintu. I want to say his name is Hintu, and they owe him some money. Rafa and Trace owe him some money. I want to know what Rafa and Trace are really up to. So why do they owe this guy money? Like, why do they owe this gangster money? And it didn't seem like a small amount. So I want to know what they're doing. And they also took a client in the episode, and this specific client seemed a little bit sketch and wanted them to repair some droids, or actually create some droids. Maybe I need to go back for one more watch, but the droid that Trace had actually repaired, one of them that activated, ran loose in the street. It was actually a droid that had no control. It really just was out of control, and they were actually more killing machines than they were helpful droids. So I want to know what they're up to. I want to know why they made these droids. Hopefully we'll get into that, and even if not, I kind of want to know more about these characters. But back to the droid, I loved the animation on this droid. Like, it very much reminded me like of the Incredible Hulk or King Kong. Like, in its movements, it's just got these very exaggerated like shoulder, oh my God, not Hulk. It's got these very exaggerated shoulder movements, and I really just like love the animation on that. Like, it just looks so fresh and crispy, and like, you know, Clone Wars has this great 3D animated feel and look to it, but there are just some details about Clone Wars that they just take to the next level, and that was one of them. It was a small minor detail, but just the way that droid was moving, and the way that like he was destroying things and tearing up the city, like, I just loved that droid. But all in all, I gotta say, this was a great episode. Ahsoka and Trace chase down the droid, and they end up deactivating it, and then they go back to a little cafeteria. And by the way, Ahsoka is there to get her bike repaired. She ends up crashing from the sky, and that's actually how she meets Trace. And once we get to the end of the episode, we see them walk away, but it doesn't seem like they're going to split ways. I mean, hopefully not. Maybe they will. Maybe Trace and Rafa are one-offs and we won't get to see them again. But I would love to see them again and love to dive into their backstory. But enough about my thoughts, guys. Let me know yours down in the comments. What did you think about this episode? I really had a great time with Trace and Rafa, getting to know them, and getting to see our Ahsoka again, y'all. Getting to see our Ahsoka. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. How did you feel about Ahsoka coming back? What are your theories coming up for the rest of the season? And how do you feel about Star Wars Clone Wars Season 7 so far? Because we got a great episode last week, ending the Bad Batch chapter of the latest season. So let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments, and we will see you next time on Geekly Goods.